A mysterious legend has been passed down for generations on a beautiful island. It is said that anyone who eats mermaid flesh will gain eternal life. However, not long after, 3 girls on the island suddenly disappeared one after another. Eventually, all 3 girls were found dead, leaving the entire island in fear. Everyone believed that this was revenge carried out by a mermaid, but when the truth was finally revealed, everyone was left heartbroken. One day, Heiji invited Detective Kagoro's family to visit an island called Mermaid Island. It turned out that Heiji had received a mysterious request letter 3 days earlier. The letter said, "A mermaid is about to be killed. Please come and save her." Following the phone number written in the letter, Heiji made a call. However, after the call connected, he could only vaguely hear the sound of waves and a woman quietly sobbing on the other end. After that, the number could never be reached again, so Heiji decided to bring Conan along and investigate the island. After arriving on the island, they learned that the person who sent the request, Saori, had been missing for 3 days. Coincidentally, that day was also the annual Dugong Festival on Mermaid Island. They went to the souvenir shop where Saori worked. According to her co-worker, Saori had lost the dugong arrow she received at last year's Dugong Festival 1 week ago. Everyone suspected that she had hidden herself because she feared revenge from the mermaid, but Kagoro refused to believe that mermaids actually existed. Just then, a girl named Naoko claimed that mermaids truly existed, because on their island, there was someone who had eaten mermaid flesh and gained immortality. The longevity elder used her own hair to create the dugong arrows. Anyone who obtained a dugong arrow could have their wish of eternal life granted. The longevity elder that Naoko mentioned was the main figure of today's Dugong Festival. According to legend, she was nearly 200 years old. The shop employee told them that if they wanted to learn more about the longevity elder, they could visit the shrine and ask her great-granddaughter, Kimmy. Soon, they found Kimmy. Although Kimmy was a shrine maiden, she was actually an atheist. Kimmy explained that the rumor about her great-grandmother eating mermaid flesh and gaining eternal life was nothing more than a myth. The dugong arrows handed out during the festival were originally just charms used to ward off evil spirits. However, the island residents connected them with the mermaid legend, eventually creating the rumor about immortality. 4 days earlier, when Kimmy left the island to visit the dentist, she had invited Saori to go with her, but at that time, Saori was terrified because she had lost her dugong arrow. Just then, a woman named Sumi interrupted their conversation. Sumi firmly believed that the longevity elder had truly eaten mermaid flesh. She also claimed that a mermaid's corpse had once appeared on the island, but just as she became more excited while telling the story, Rokuro stopped her from continuing. He seemed unwilling to let outsiders hear those rumors. After that, Kimmy invited everyone to attend the Dugong Festival that night. She also gave Kazuha and Ran a number card each. Kimmy explained that if their number was selected during the festival, they would receive a dugong arrow and gain the power of eternal life. That night, the Dugong Festival was held. Everyone finally had the chance to see the legendary longevity elder in person. The longevity elder lit a paper charm attached to the door. After the paper burned away, a number mysteriously appeared. Soon, Sumi excitedly announced that she had won. Kazuha and Naoko were also among the winners. Afterward, Kimmy brought the 3 winners to Mermaid Falls. She asked them to step forward and receive their prizes. Kazuha and Naoko happily walked toward Kimmy, but Sumi never appeared. At that moment, a man walked out. It was Saori's father Benzo. He claimed that he was the 3rd winner. Kimmy did not think much of it and handed him the dugong arrow. At the same time, the villagers began setting off fireworks. But then, someone suddenly noticed a mysterious figure inside Mermaid Falls. That figure turned out to be the missing Sumi. Kagoro concluded that Sumi had most likely accidentally fallen into the water, then became trapped by a rope from the broken railing, which wrapped around her neck and caused her death by suffocation. However, Heiji still had doubts. The award ceremony had been held below the waterfall, so why would Sumi have gone to the top of the waterfall? Naoko believed that Sumi had probably gone there searching for the mermaid's grave. 3 years ago, after a fire broke out at the shrine warehouse, the police discovered a skeleton inside. After examination, it was identified as the remains of a middle-aged woman. Later, the media exaggerated the story and claimed it was a mermaid skeleton. Kimmy explained that the remains most likely belonged to a tourist who had tried to steal the dugong arrow. The fire had simply been caused accidentally by a candle. After hearing this, Kagoro believed they still needed to wait for the police to make the final judgment. Meanwhile, Ran and Kazuha arrived. They told Kagoro that because the waves were too strong, the police were temporarily unable to reach the island. At the same time, Heiji discovered a clue. They found a life ring downstream from the waterfall. Heiji suspected that the murderer had first strangled Sumi to death, then tied the rope around her neck and used the current to create the illusion of an accidental death. Heiji was certain that the murderer was still somewhere on the island. Naoko told Heiji that the murderer was most likely Saori's father Benzo. However, Benzo was already completely drunk, so it would probably be impossible to get any useful information from him. Seeing this, Conan suggested that they first visit the longevity elder. Soon, everyone returned to the shrine. While they were talking, the longevity elder suddenly appeared. Heiji curiously asked, "Since all the tourists come here for the dugong arrow, why are only 3 given out every year?" The longevity elder explained that 3 was already the limit because she did not have much hair left anymore. Just then, Kimi told the longevity elder that her bath was ready. The longevity elder then turned and left. Before leaving, she reminded Kazuha that if she failed to carry the dugong arrow with her at all times, she might turn into a mermaid. After saying that, she slowly walked toward the bathroom. The next day, the island held a memorial ceremony for Sumi. Conan was surprised to discover that Benzo, who was known for his drinking habit, had arrived earlier than them. At that moment, Kagoro noticed Naoko's name on the attendance list, but Naoko herself was nowhere to be seen. Ran and Kazuha decided to look for her. However, the moment they stepped outside, they saw a person hanging from a fishing net in the distance. Conan immediately recognized her. It was the missing Naoko. Heiji analyzed the scene. Naoko had been dead for less than an hour. There were 2 different types of footprints at the scene. One was a pair of slipper prints, and the other was a pair of long boot prints. The boot prints were most likely left behind by the murderer. Conan discovered an imprint of a dugong arrow on the ground. This meant that after killing Naoko, the murderer took the dugong arrow away. The boot prints continued all the way into the sea. Even more strangely, there were scattered fish scales beside the footprints. Conan also discovered that Naoko's body was covered with fish scales. Just as everyone was confused, the police finally arrived and began their investigation. Kazuha suggested that this might have been the work of a mermaid. However, Heiji disagreed. Judging from the footprints, the murderer first walked along the coastline, killed Naoko, and then returned the same way, creating the illusion that a mermaid had committed the crime. Kagoro asked Kimi whether she had seen Naoko leave. Kimi said that the only person she saw at the time was Benzo. However, Benzo claimed that when he arrived, there was no one inside the room. Kagoro analyzed that Naoko was most likely the first person to arrive there. The only thing they could confirm was that the murderer had taken the dugong arrow. Hearing this, Kimi remembered that Saori had also disappeared after losing her dugong arrow. Heiji believed that Saori, who had written the letter to him, was most likely already dead. The villagers were shocked because one of them had seen Saori near Mermaid Falls the previous morning. Another villager also claimed to have seen Saori's figure. After hearing this, Heiji believed that someone might have been hunting Saori down, forcing her to hide. Afterward, the police investigated the dugong arrows. At this point, the only people who still possessed the arrows were Benzo and Kazuha. Conan and Heiji analyzed that the only thing connecting the 3 victims was that they all believed the longevity elder had eaten mermaid flesh. Heiji felt frustrated. If only they knew who each number card belonged to. Kimi then said that she had recorded everyone's names in a registry. If they wanted to see the list, they could go get it with her. Soon, night fell. Kagoro was already drunk. While walking toward the shrine, Ran learned that Kimi, the 3 victims, and Rokuro were college classmates. The 5 of them had been close and had even made a movie together. When they arrived at the shrine, Kimi discovered that the registry was missing. Strangely, only this year's festival registry had disappeared. Kimi decided to search other rooms first. With nothing else to do, Ran and Kazuha followed her. Meanwhile, Heiji looked through previous year's festival registries. Suddenly, a scream echoed through the shrine. Heiji immediately rushed over. Ran said that a woman wearing glasses had been staring at them earlier. This made Heiji think that the woman was most likely the missing Saori. He also noticed that the glass door had been broken. Conan discovered that Kimi was missing as well. Ran said that Kimi had gone to the shrine warehouse. Suddenly, the warehouse burst into flames. The firefighters arrived and put out the fire. Inside, they discovered a body. The firefighter told Heiji that the corpse was wearing blue clothes, with broken glasses beside it. The victim was most likely Saori. Meanwhile, the longevity elder was searching for Kimi. Ran and Kazuha followed her. Conan suddenly remembered that Kimi had once said she invited Saori to visit the dentist with her. He immediately asked Kagoro to contact the police. The police investigated the dentist's records. They discovered that the person who died was actually Kimi. This made Conan determined to uncover the real murderer. Everyone returned to the burned warehouse. Kagoro stated that there were no clues left behind. The biggest mystery was why Kimi had disguised herself as Saori. Heiji believed that the murderer wanted to mislead everyone into thinking the victim was Saori. Just then, Ran hurried over. She told everyone that Kimi's room had received a thank you call. The person on the phone said that he had bought the dugong arrow for 1 million yen, and his child's surgery succeeded because of it. Heiji became curious. Who had sold the dugong arrow? Ran explained that the buyer only said the seller was a middle-aged man with a beard. Everyone immediately realized that it was Benzo. Heiji returned to the memorial hall. The villagers told him that Benzo had left shortly after they did the previous night. Heiji was certain that Benzo was the person who stole the registry. Meanwhile, Kagoro arrived at Benzo's house. No one answered. Rokuro told them that Benzo's house key was hidden under the flower pot. The group entered the house. Conan checked the handbag and discovered that it only contained everyday items. Rokuro explained that the handbag belonged to Saori. She had prepared it when she planned to run away from home. Whenever she argued with Benzo, she would stay at Kimi's house. After hearing this, Conan believed Kimi wore Saori's clothes because she changed into them herself. Her purpose was to lure out the murderer. But when the fire happened, Ran clearly saw Saori. To confirm this, Conan asked Rokuro for the photo album. Everyone looked through it. However, when they saw Saori's photos, Ran became uncertain again. Conan soon discovered that the photos were taken when the 5 of them were making a movie. Rokuro told them that the movie had won an award. It was all thanks to Kimi's incredible makeup skills. Although the tsunami in the movie was only a special effect, a real tsunami struck Mermaid Island the following year. His parents and Kimi's mother both lost their lives in that disaster. At that moment, Conan suddenly realized something. Saori's bag contained almost everything she needed. Except for one thing. Conan immediately searched through it, but as he continued looking, he suddenly froze. Soon, Heiji received a call from Conan. Conan told him the entire truth, but after hearing everything, Heiji angrily shouted at Conan. He refused to believe the truth Conan had uncovered. Instead, he decided to capture Benzo first. Soon, Heiji arrived in the forest. There, he discovered a burning incense stick nearby. The tombstone in front of him was the mermaid's grave. Suddenly, the tombstone shifted. Because of the force, Heiji rolled down with it. Just as he was about to fall off the cliff, Kazuha grabbed him in time. However, she fell down instead. At the critical moment, Heiji grabbed her hand, but the two of them became trapped on the cliff. Meanwhile, Conan used a tranquilizer dart to knock Kagoro unconscious. He prepared to reveal the truth while using Kagoro's identity. The police brought Benzo back, and the longevity elder also arrived. After everyone gathered, Conan began his deduction. 3 murders had occurred on the island. The first victim was Sumi at Mermaid Falls. The second was Naoko, who was strangled with a fishing net. The third was Kimi, who died in the warehouse fire. Among them, the second case was the most crucial. The murderer scattered fish scales to mislead everyone. At the time of the murder, the only people who could have committed the crime were Benzo and Rokuro. Furthermore, on the morning of the festival, Benzo sold Saori's dugong arrow for 1 million yen. Benzo admitted it, claiming the arrow belonged to Saori. Hearing this, the police officer concluded that Benzo committed all 3 murders. His motive was to make money by selling dugong arrows. To hide his crime, Benzo stole the festival registry beforehand. When the police caught him, the registry was found on him. However, Conan immediately rejected this conclusion. If Benzo were the murderer, he would have burned the registry with the warehouse. The number card he possessed was most likely something he had picked up by chance. The officer then shifted his suspicion toward Rokuro, but Conan explained that Rokuro was not the murderer either. The murderer used a life ring to make Sumi's body drift into Mermaid Falls, creating the illusion of an accidental death. With Rokuro's strength, there was no need for him to use such a method. Conan continued his analysis. The first murder happened during strong ocean winds, preventing the police from reaching the island. The murderer used this chance to disguise Sumi's death as an accident and prepare the next steps. When killing Naoko, the murderer deliberately left clues behind. The real purpose was to attract everyone's attention and secretly complete the final plan. This entire scheme had been carefully planned for a long time. The murderer not only controlled who obtained the dugong arrows but also spread the rumor that losing an arrow would bring revenge from the mermaid, creating the illusion that the murders were caused by a mermaid. Considering all these conditions, the only person capable of carrying out the entire plan was the longevity elder. Everyone was shocked. Rokuro immediately objected. The longevity elder was already very old. How could she commit a series of murders? Conan explained that she did not need to do it herself. She only needed someone else to carry out the murders. That person was Kimi. Rokuro could not believe it. Kimi was clearly the victim of the third murder. How could she be the murderer? Ran was also confused. The police had already confirmed Kimi's identity through dental records. Conan explained that the person who received dental treatment was actually Saori. While Saori was not paying attention, Kimi stole her health insurance card and pretended to lend her own card to Saori. Because of this, the dental records were registered under Kimi's name. After that, Kimi killed Saori in the warehouse and set it on fire. The woman Ren saw wearing glasses was actually Kimi disguised as Saori. The dentist's testimony also confirmed that the girl who visited the clinic had brown hair. The officer immediately ordered a search for Kimi, but Conan stopped him. He said Kimi was already in the room. Rokuro had once said that their movie won an award because of Kimi's incredible makeup skills. Everyone slowly turned their eyes toward the longevity elder. Conan explained that the mermaid skeleton discovered 3 years ago was actually the remains of a woman whose legs had been tied with ropes before she was burned. Just then, the longevity elder spoke. She said that woman was her mother. Immediately afterward, she tore off her disguise, revealing Kimi's true identity. Rand still could not understand. When they met the longevity elder before, they had clearly heard Kimi's voice. Kimi explained that it was only a pre-recorded voice. Rokuro asked why Kimi would do something like this. They had grown up together as friends. Kimi coldly replied that everything she did was for revenge. 3 years ago, during the Dugong festival, Sumi, Naoko, and Saori failed to win a Dugong arrow and became resentful. By coincidence, they saw Kimi's mother entering the shrine warehouse while disguised as the longevity elder. Obsessed with the legend of eternal life, the 3 girls started a fire to test whether the longevity elder truly possessed immortality. Kimi's mother became trapped inside the warehouse and died in the fire. Rokuro still could not understand. He remembered that Kimi's mother and his own parents had died in the tsunami. Kimi explained that her mother had faked her death during the tsunami to protect the secret of the longevity elder. Before her death, her mother called Kimi one last time. She told Kimi that she must continue playing the role of the longevity elder. Only then did everyone finally realize that the longevity elder was never just one person. It was a role that had been passed down and performed by multiple generations of Kimi's family. Just then, Heiji returned, covered in wounds. He told everyone that there were still many people who knew the secret. They were the elderly villagers who had said the Dugong festival should end after Kimi's death. With the truth exposed, the older villagers shamefully admitted that everyone on the island had known about it. After Kimi's mother died, they had decided never to hold the Dugong festival again, but when they saw Kimi disguise herself as the longevity elder, they chose to quietly help her fulfill her mother's final wish. After saying this, everyone lowered their heads and apologized to Kimi. After learning the truth, Kimi burst into tears. Later, Kimi was taken away by the police. All the island residents came to see her off. At that moment, the waves at sea were extremely violent, and the boat was unable to depart for a long time. It was as if even the ocean itself was unwilling to let this tragic shrine maiden leave.